Okay, it is Monday morning, beginning of the week. Been very busy. I have very little time on my hands lately to get to this. Quick intro here. Yes, I am starting my Patreon account, but I found it necessary that not only did I need to have a separate email account for that channel away from this channel, but also financially I needed to separate the two. So I'm taking care of that now. It might take a week or two. I already have the introduction video produced, just waiting on getting all of my ducks in a row. Patreon does take a percentage, just like YouTube would for running the ads, but their rules are more laxed. I will get to talk about a few things there that I'm being censored for here. Really stupid things to me that has nothing to do with nothing, but I'm assuming it's just the algorithms being run here. So, and I haven't been able to bypass them, so I just don't talk about it. But we have a lot of information to cover here. I would like to start by saying that when we talk about the three sticks or the three crosses or the three pillars or the three paths, we're talking about the same thing, but they all have subtle differences. To me, all of these things are what you call parts of the body of Osiris. The body of Osiris is a body of knowledge, and it was cut into many pieces. But just like our bodies, your DNA, just a little bit of your skin or your saliva or your blood within it has the code to your entire body. You can be cloned from that, or at least skeletally. You can't clone your spirit. Now, I need to address what some of these differences are between these. There seems to be a little bit of confusion because the three pillars or the three paths does not have the same knowledge as the three crosses. The three crosses, we'd say fixed, mutable, cardinal. But when you put the planets on the pillars where they belong, they're not the same. This has been altered. This is what I call a new tracing board. They show you here, west is at the bottom, east is at the top, north and south. Here they have, these are the two pillars, Jacob and Boaz, severity and mercy, solar and lunar, masculine, feminine. But the W, that is a symbol from the Egyptian hieroglyphics that means magic. Magic. Third eye, right eye, left eye. They put the eye in the middle because it's the third eye. The third, there is no third temple. The man building a third temple is the fake temple. And to me, that's what Freemasonry is. It is a body of knowledge. It has been corrupted. Masonry was the teaching about this, but what they've done is they built the third temple. Or they're in the process of building the third temple. They already have the instruments. On your head, your left eye has a temple, your right eye has a temple. In the story of the Hebrews moving out, they began their journey in Egypt. So that's Taurus and prior, Gemini, Cancer, going backwards into Leo. In Taurus, you venerated Venus in the position of fixed earth. But in the very next age, they venerate Venus in the heavens as the most high, going from fixed earth to cardinal air. It was an ascension of Venus. Prior, Venus had fallen from heaven, right? From Libra air, and the next time Venus came into power, she's all the way back around in Taurus, in the Earth sign. So, when we're looking, you need to know all of them. Each piece of the body of Osiris has information for you. One explains the other. The more perspectives you have, the more you're going to understand it. And now, for myself, Osiris's body, the story changes. It was cut up into 12 pieces. It was cut up into 13. It was cut up into 14. Depending on what your source is, that number changes. But regardless, I don't have all of those pieces. I'm aware of them, and I have a knowledge of a few others, but I don't present it because I've not learned it. But when I talk about the 3 crosses at Golgotha, or the 3 crosses in the heavens, or the 3 paths of Kabbalah, or the 3 pillars of Freemasonry, or the 3 sticks of the Native Americans, I do know what I'm talking about. I have done my homework, and I understand the similarities and the differences and how they do not oppose each other. They complement each other. So, the differences being, the differences are linguistically in the teachings, by traditions and cultures of men, but symbolically, the symbols that are used are correct. Except for, like I said, I have some issues with the newer ones. I learned this from basically ancient well, some of them I don't consider ancient, because ancient to me would be pre-Piscean, and we are coming up to post-Piscean. But this knowledge that is being presented to us today, especially on the internet, has been tampered with. And I did learn this from handwritten manuscripts off of occult.biz from real alchemists who were what I call Masons, not Freemasons. Natural initiates, not artificial initiates. Freemasonry, there's nothing free about it. It costs you everything to join these organizations, and they artificially initiate you through ritual and ceremony. But there are many that are born every day, that they are naturally initiated just by when and where they were born. It's all written in the stars. Man can change. They can change the symbols, and they can change the words. They're very good at twisting the words and telling you they mean something different. But what they cannot change are the heavens. That does not mean they do not try. And we are even told that the evil one seeks to change the times and the seasons, because that's the only way it can remain in power. This beast system. So, and we are witnessing this attempt now. It's happened before, it will happen again. But you can't change what's coming. When we move fully into Aquarius, everybody's third eye will open. That's the real awakening. This awakening is a constructed one by man. It is not natural. It's a false awakening. It's a dream within a dream. It's not real. When Aquarius comes, the Bible say when the King comes, when Jesus returns, all of that. everybody's third eye is going to open. Some will awaken to everlasting life, and some to shame and condemnation. So let's talk about some of the differences. Like I said, the similarities you'll find mostly in the symbolism. The symbolism lets you know they're connected to each other. The new tracing boards, I mean, that's so Aquarius. The border, so many of them have that zigzag checkerboard on the floor and the zigzag trim around it. When the older ones, let's see if we can find some of the ancient ones. Let's just add the word. You have to be specific with Google. They do not have the Aquarian symbol. So when you see, even this is Aquarian in a feminine form, when you add this symbol, you're invoking that power. Okay? The power today, in this age, is the power of Mercury and Jupiter. Jupiter rules religion and beliefs in Pisces, psychology, philosophy, and ideology in Sagittarius. Mercury rules navigation, hermetics, and commerce, intelligence and intellect, or knowledge. And symbolism. In this age, Mercury's ruling the symbolism. He does, like Wall Street logos. When you have a company, you have to get a logo from the advertiser, the adversary, who adds the verse. They're adding verses. Here's one, Masonic tracing board decoded and explained. They're showing you they're the same thing. And in the Tree of Life Kabbalah, they removed what? The Da'ath, which was the knowledge of it all. This one became oral tradition. The oral tradition, the lost phallic of Osiris. That lost knowledge. And so what did Isis do? Or Venus and Taurus? They created a fake one. And the fake one was the star Sirius. That was their anchor, their new phallic, their new guiding light. And we see where that leads. Today, our world is the manifestation of that. But we're coming into Aquarius, and Sirius is now, currently, up until just a few years ago, which is in Gemini, by the way, Sirius is not part of the Taurus constellation. It's the lower house of Gemini, or baby Mercury, the twins, the two towers, the fake two pillars of Hermetics, the Kundalini rising from the lower chakra instead of from the heart chakra. They're coming in the gate. They're coming into the sheepfold the other way. They're not coming in through the gate, through the straight and narrow. The teachings of the Old and New Testament. In the Hermetic tradition of duality, which are the two outer pillars, you're never told about the center pillar. What you are told is it's deceptive, because they don't come from the heart chakra. They're coming from the root chakra. And that's why there are two snakes on the Pharaoh's head instead of one. So what Aquarius will do is put us on the center pillar, on the center cross, on the ladder, Jacob's ladder. It's where the angels come up and down. And the stories have been manipulated to reinforce the narrative. But, again, what cannot be changed are the heavens. The Vatican and the Spanish and the British, when they circumvented the globe in colonization, they harvested all of the knowledge and then destroyed all of the knowledge, rewrote the knowledge, and gave it back to the people the way they were allowed to have it. It's all been censored. Everything about our knowledge has been censored since the Babylonian priesthood, when the scribes scribbled the scriptures and gave us Bible, Bibble, Babble at Babylon and divided the tongues. That's when the body of Osiris was divided. It was put back together in Egypt as the Library of Alexandria, and that was destroyed. Actually, most of it was stolen before it was even destroyed, because knowledge is power. So when they removed the knowledge, the da'ath, they removed the power. The ledger. To have knowledge, you must know the ledger. The ledgers. We've been given the ledger of the sun pillar and the moon pillar, solar astrology and lunar astrology, but nobody's given us the middle pillar. And that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you the middle pillar, the ladder, the fixed cross, that knowledge, the da'at, what's missing. And I'm trying to give it to you correctly. I can see it very clearly. The zodiac is a galactic, alchemical transmutation circle of nature. It's perfectly natural, and when you understand it and you see it in its beauty, it's scientific. It's perfectly natural. It's the science of nature. It's how all of this became. And it clearly defines that, one, there's no such thing as evolution. We do not mutate. We transmutate. We don't evolve. We mutate or transmutate. We are becoming. The purpose of an alchemical circle is to extract the essence of a thing, its quintessence. Like, you want to make moonshine. You take corn, that's your substance, your prima materia. You put the water in, you put the sugar in, the activator, and then you close it off and you let it ferment. Stage coagulation, fermentation. And then you go in, you add the fire, the final element, you get distillation. And it goes up, it vaporizes air into the air, it vaporizes and becomes purified. So we are here to be refined, extracted, refined, and purified. And you can distill something multiple times. The more you distill it, the more pure it becomes. In man's attempt to distillate, we reach what we call pure as 99.44. Pure. Like ivory soap, it's 99.44. That's as pure as we can get, because you can't get the 100, because you have to, what in moonshine they call it tamper. You tamper it. Right at the end, before you can drink it, to tamper it, you add just that 0.56 water back to the process. And it's called tampering. We would call that baptism. You have to be baptized. Well, making moonshine, it has to be, or whiskeys or alcohol, it has to be tampered. are tampered with. You tamper it. I know a lot of you don't understand that. If you're interested, there are videos on YouTube about making moonshine. The best one is going to be the last. I think it's called the last one, the last moonshiner, or the last one. And he actually will use those words. In the end, oh no, it's not ready. You have to tamper it. And he's got this big, almost 55-gallon drum of alcohol, and he's going to pour just a tiny little bit of water in it, that 0.56, to make that 0.44 kick it up 99 to 100. So everything's been tampered with. But you must have that in the physical realm. But we live in a 12-dimensional construct. Let's talk about this for a minute, because my family was part of the Genome Project, and the rest of them just went and had a simple blood test, right? Well, no, I had to ask all the questions and spend hours there, and I want to know the who, what's, where, when, why, and how of it all. And I asked about junk DNA. What's junk DNA? Well, the body has 3 strands of DNA. 2 are active. That's why they show us the double helix of duality. They're showing us the sun pillar and the moon pillar. But the middle pillar is the ladder that goes between them. The ladder that connects the 2. So it's even in your body. But the junk DNA are 10 other strands that are currently inactive. They've been deactivated. When they tell you you only use 1/10 of your brain, your entire brain is active. There's no part of it that's not active or used for something. People misunderstand that. We don't use it. It's there. It's like junk brain that's connected to the junk DNA, and we're just not using it. It's like having a big house with a bunch of rooms, and it's just you, and you stay in just a few of them. You have all this other space. You're just not using it. It's all there. We don't know its purpose. What's it doing? Oh, it's just junk. It's just leftovers. No, it's not. It's all usable. And all of that gets turned on and off as the sun moves through the ages. It changes frequency with each constellation. The planets are fixing to all change frequency. The Earth is changing. We're changing. All of the other planets, the frequency of the Earth and the other planets are changing. It's resonant frequency. And that's because the sun is moving. The sun is changing. As it moves into Aquarius, we're moving into fixed, stable, out of complete chaos into complete stability, and out of groupthink into individuality. You're here earning and getting your crowns. Thankfully, you're here learning what they are and what to do with it before you get it. I got it and didn't know what I had. I opened my third eye very young and didn't understand it at all, and have spent every free moment of my life trying to learn who I am and what this place is and what we're doing here. To me, nothing else matters. I need truth. Spelt with, let me show you how I spell truth. T-R-O-O-T-H. It has the root in the middle. It is the Royal Order of Thalem, is the truth. This says U. They give us the letter U. They put U here. It's still, they put us in a rut instead of giving us the root, simply by changing the spelling. And, oh, well, that don't mean anything. Oh, but it means everything, because these are frickin' symbols. These are our magic symbols. These are the way we cast spells on ourselves. And they're very particular at how you spell something. You will get called out on YouTube for grammar. They have, and spelling. They now have Grammarly. They don't only spell it for you, but they'll rearrange the sentence, restructure it, and change words so that you are in compliance with the spell. They took over Ebonics and made spells out of it when it was a natural occurring transmutation to the African American tongue here in the United States, and the scribes hijack it. Who are the scribes? They fall in several different guilds. We will know them as the priesthood have their own, but we will know them as the Writers Guild, the advertising community, and amongst the media. The media is just the way the Writers Guild and the advertising guilds present their work. It's just simply a platform. But who's behind the scenes? It's the writers and the editors. The authors and the editors. And they all have to be authorized and approved, stamped, registered. There is no free thinking allowed. Everything here is backwards. So if it's free, then you're in bondage. There's nothing. That's why nothing is free. A free dome is a controlled, unfree, slaved dome. But if you perceive it to be free, I mean, for all we know, the word free could have always been slavery, and slavery could have always been free. They flipped it on us so many times that you have to find the root. And that was my goal. Where do all these languages come from? And every time I got into a language and I dug to its root, it took me to one place. As a matter of fact, any time I studied anything and wanted to know what is the source of this, and I don't mean just where we get it, where I want to know where they got it and where they got it from and where it comes from all the way back to the beginning. And no matter what I looked at, everything took me back to the stars. Oh, well, that goes back to the stars. Light is information. That we can take any data, we can take anything, translate it into data, turn that into light, and send it down a glass tube called fiber optics. And it comes out on the other end and retranslates back into what we see on our screens. You're the same way. You are a sun. You are a star locked inside your own third eye. You're your own light. You have this little light of mine. I got to let it shine. So, we're all born, don't want to do that. We're all born on one of these crosses. We're all born on these pillars, on these paths. Your planets in your natal position are going to fall either in the solar severity pillar path, the lunar mercy pillar path, or the middle pillar, the ladder, the fixed cross. And they're in one of these positions. You need to know. If your heart falls on the sun pillar, it's in a sun sign in your natal chart, right? Its position is the middle pillar. But Venus is divided. She rules cardinal air, but fixed earth. So air and earth is the middle pillar. But she falls in a sun sign in your chart. Then you're going to have severity. If it your heart will have severity. If it falls on the moon pillar, then your heart will find mercy. Do you understand now why you need to know where your stars are, not just in your chart, but on these pillars and on these paths? You need to know where you stand, and you need to look at it not only in your natal chart, but when you look at it, you need to look at it from a solar perspective, which is Western astrology, a lunar perspective, which is Eastern astrology, Occidental, Oriental. But what about the middle pillar? That's alchemical. That's Saturn. And these two have pitched together and demonized Saturn, Earth, Capricorn, and Heaven, Aquarius, to no end. But the truth is in the image when they show you the eye. That's your third eye. Why is that evil? You can look at it, you can look at the eyes and tell, are they showing you the feminine eye, the left eye, or the masculine eye, the right eye? Or are they showing you the third eye? It has no temple. If they build one, it's a fake one. That's just a hole in they're putting a hole in your head that don't belong there. Maybe that's why they drilled the holes in the head. We find all the skulls with the holes drilled in their head. Fake temple. No, there's a natural one, and it's coming naturally. Don't have to do anything but just sit back and wait. Nature is doing its job for the planet and for humanity. We are, in the end, very little is lost, if nothing at all. You can process that corn and sugar over and over and over again till you extract every single bit of its quintessence, its essence, or in our case, your soul, your spirit, your being, your consciousness, the thing that is eternal about you. So, it does help to know all of this. And you need to learn it for you. You need to let the Spirit guide you and teach you the truth in all things. But when man gives us something, there's sometimes you'll find a whole bunch of truth to cover up one little lie. And sometimes in a whole bunch of lies, you'll find one little bit of truth. Remember, 99-44. So, you just have to judge. We're told to try the spirits to see if they be of God. No, it's try the spirits to see which God they be of. There are 7. You have 7 chakras. God is just a word, it's a title. It's not a being. It's not nature. God, our creator, or who's really in control here, is the entirety of the magic circle. The circle does. And the circle in the heavens belongs to Saturn. The sun and the moon just travel along it. Its authority is ruled by Saturn in Aquarius. That's alchemy, not hermetics. Not hermetics from Gemini, but alchemy is taught in Aquarius. And it has one law, not the 10 laws of Aries, the grace and mercy and blind faith of Pisces, but it has one law, and that's the alchemical law of equivalent exchange. To get something, you must give something. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. You will reap what you sow. It's called karma. So you need to know all of this. You need to know the church has got everybody so upset between the church and the state, politics and the government. The government gives you justice, right? Justice. Well, that's just ice, and they call it criminal justice because there is no justice for the victim, only the criminal. And the church tells you to have blind faith, and they don't have the answers. So you just have to believe whatever they tell you. They're not willing to give you any evidence. All the evidence you will ever need is inside of you. And all you got to do is let go of the outside and let the inside become. I was asked the question, how do I get all my planets on the middle pillar? You don't. You're born into it, or you're not. All you can look at is what this lifetime is about. In your chart, you can see your natal chart, how you were born, what was. Then you can look at your first Saturn return to look at what is. And then you can look at your second Saturn return to look at what's coming. And you can even look further if you choose to. But we're sticking to the 3 pillars, because that's all that's knowable in this age. But as we move into Aquarius, we will learn the 3rd ledger. They've cooked the books, and they've told us about the ledger that the accounts that we see publicly, the hidden accounts on the lunar pillar, and then we're not told about the 3rd ledger at all. To have knowledge, you must know the ledgers. And that is the body of Osiris. Now, I have the 3 sticks, 1. The 3 crosses at Golgotha, 2. The 3 crosses in the heavens, 3. The 3 paths in Kabbalah, 4. And the 3 pillars of Freemasonry, 5. I have 5 pieces of the body of Osiris. But with only those few pieces, I already found the real phallic, the real knowledge, the hidden ledger. And that's what I'm trying to give you. This is the best way I can explain what I'm doing. How do I convey something this massive? No wonder they call it an oral tradition. But to me, life handed me this. I didn't choose it. It chose me. It's literally written in my natal chart. I have Fomalhaut on the horizon at the exact moment I'm born. So it's all written in the stars. To even other people that were born on the same day I was, don't have this. Why? Because the thing that changes the fastest is minute by minute your rising sign changes. And the stars that are on the horizon. And you need to know them all the way around the circle. What's on the horizon when you're born? When lunar astrology or sidereal astrology teaches the rising sign. But in their tradition, you look at which constellation is rising. I'm telling you, every star on that horizon matters, not just the constellation of the zodiac that's rising. Everything matters. All of it. I like this one. There's another perspective. The right eye masculine, left eye feminine, third eye, but they have it. See how they've done it? It looks like the left eye. That's who gave it to them. Lunar astrology. It has to be equilateral. It doesn't lean to the left or the right. It's not slanted left and it's not slanted right. It's whole. It's complete. Don't look like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 chakras. All of it. The tarot deck is the symbology. connected with numerology. Several of you have sent me tarot decks, and I have been going through them and comparing what are the similarities and what are the differences. I'll be getting into a lot of that on my Patreon channel. I'm going to leave my YouTube channel here, but there are things I simply, I'm tired of arguing with YouTube about. I can circumvent that, as minute as it is. And there are restrictions on Patreon that I'm going to have issues with. But maybe one can play off the other. I can post part of a video or the information, and what I'm not allowed on YouTube, I can complete on the other with a little bit more freedom. Of course, I expect a lot of that to become censored along the line, but the majority is being focused here on YouTube because they have a far larger audience exposure. So it's necessary for the elite to control the narrative and information through Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and the like. But Patreon, they're down the list. And I'm not interested in exposure. I just simply want to document all of this. I don't think my channel is going to have an impact in my lifetime, but I'm hoping that enough of you will get it and pass it along to others or your children that it will make a difference in the future. And it can make a difference in your own life. But I'm just one person. And and I do have a life of my own that is in constant upheaval, always has been, but that too is in my chart. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody gets a free ride. Eventually, what comes around goes around. And they have squared the circle. And you're either going to, if you stay on it, you're either going to the left, taking a left, or taking a right. The sun progresses through the constellations as we see them daily in a counterclockwise motion. But it retrogrades through a clockwise motion through the ages. It's going in two directions at the same time. Interesting, huh? It's fascinating to me. I probably bore a lot of you to death, and my videos seem to be getting longer and longer and longer to try to convey one simple idea, because that's how complex it all is. And yeah, we can use all of our brain, and as we move into Aquarius and our DNA starts changing and everything about us is going to change. And this fake awakening and this fake transition, trans in quotation marks, it's the fake one. It's the Antichrist. It's instead of the anointing. They're giving you this. When we open our third eyes, we're not going to need cell phones. You're just going to be able to think it. And you'll think back and forth telepathically with anybody, anywhere. You're going to have a hard time turning it off. Yeah, we're all going to be open up to a whole new world. But this construct we're in is creating a physical false one, a false physical world to try to imitate what's in the spiritual world. Naturally. It's art official. It's official art. Artie did it. Art does it all because it's all in the symbolism. Because symbolism drives your subconscious and the universe. The universe and your subconscious do not speak language. Language is the spell. The whole world spoke one language before the priest of Babylon, the scribes, scribbled the scriptures and divided the tongues. And they did it by languages. Because the one language was the language of alchemy, the language of symbolism. And when you learn that language, you can read any of the other tongues. You can read any painting. You can pick up any book of knowledge, and just by looking at the symbols, you know what its reference is. You know what part of the body of Osiris this is. And that's what I want to give you, is this symbolic language. And learn how to read it through the different parts of the body of Osiris. I don't know how to explain it any simpler than that. I have so many new subs. I do not know where you people are coming from. I don't tag my videos. I don't add my videos. YouTube does not promote me. If anything, it hides my stuff. But you're coming here for a reason. And I've basically done your homework for you. You just have to go back and watch the videos. And little by little, it's a puzzle. And each video is going to have a tiny piece of the puzzle. But the more of them that you watch, the picture will start to fill in. And you'll start to see the big picture that I'm trying to present to you. Because you need to see the big picture to understand all of this. You need to get out of duality and get out of this is good and that is evil. You need to get on that mental pillar consciously and subconsciously. You need to find a way to go within and connect with your own higher self. Then you won't need me or this channel. You'll have the root of the truth. You'll be connected to the root when you connect to your higher self. It will confirm. It's the baptism of the Holy Spirit. You will know even as you are known. You will know. Now. That spirit now. K now. You'll have the knowledge of the ledgers. And so a lot of our lives have been utter hell. We've been on the severity pillar. Through that hell, we found much mercy on the lunar pillar. While the whole time of our lives, we've been ignoring the middle way, the straight and narrow path. We've done it our way, the broad way, the highway and the byway. But there is the one way. The Tao means the way. The Tao means the way. Jesus said, I am the way. The straight and narrow, right up the middle. And that takes you from the heart. On that middle pillar, you only find Venus, Mercury, and Saturn. And Mercury's mutable. He's Loki. He's the trickster. But he controls the knowledge and your intelligence. Yes, he does. And they hid that part. Venus controls the heart. To get to the thalamus, to activate the pineal gland, you must go through the heart. And it can't be a prideful heart. It has to be a broken, contrite heart. I've done all these videos. I take it straight out of the books, straight out of the scriptures. That's Old Testament. Your feast and your rituals and your sacrifices are an abomination unto me. I'm looking for somebody with a broken and contrite heart. David, the tribe of Judah, which is Leo, on the fixed cross, a man after my own heart. The apple of my eye, singular. That's the middle pillar speaking. You need to know which pillar's speaking when you read those scriptures. Is this the fire god? Solar. Is this a lunar god? Water. That battle of fire and ice that they keep us in eternally. The same story told over and over and over and over again. Because it's the only story that can be told in this age. Because that's what it is. It's the battle of fire and ice. But when you put fire on that ice, it melts it. You keep that fire on that ice, it distills it. It purifies it. It refines it. The sun draws that water up out of the oceans and desalinates it. it purifies it, and it pours it back, it rains it back on the earth, so that if the salt came up into the clouds and rained back down on the ground, it would kill the plants. Too much salt in the water kills your plants. It'll kill everything. They have to have fresh water. So the sun does that. It draws that water up and it distills it. And then it redistribute the clouds and the air redistributed. Distillation. That's where we're headed. To get into Aquarius, you have to be baptized. The fire has to go through the water and be distillation. From Aries fire to Pisces water to distillation air. It's time for purification. And what happens in purification is everything that cannot be purified is burnt off. It's the scum on the top that's just washed away. It's the dross on the silver. And it's the crap in your life that means nothing. You wonder why your lives are in upheaval. You need to go through distillation. You need to get rid of what's not working for you. And even, you're going to hate it, but this is people in your life too. Uranus is currently, let's go to Stellarium. Uranus is the awake conscience part of your mind. And it's in Aries, the sign of purification, cardinal fire. Now is the time to purify your mind. They've locked us all at home and want us all to be on the internet and on the TV and playing video games so that they can control the narrative and what's in your mind. Now's a great time to purify it. Now's the time to start canceling your cable bill. Just use that money for something else. Start meditating. Start getting rid of corrupted knowledge that no longer serves you. Purification is a taking away. You know, this fire here, we've talked about it. It does one of two things to you. It either purifies you or it burns you to the ground. And if it burns you to the ground, you got to find a way to become the phoenix out of the ashes and reinvent yourself completely, which is still a form of purification. So when this happens, Uranus, the outer planets don't play. When they're here, they mean business, but they're gentle and they're slow and they're subtle and they're there for a long time. And they actually give you the opportunity to do this yourself. But when they get ready to leave a sign, if you haven't done this purification of your conscious mind, they're going to do it for you. And it'll be a bad day for you. A bad year for you. So it's better that you do it yourself. Why be forced to? But it's nature. It's going to happen with or without you. This is nature's power circle. And what it says freaking goes. Not just to us, but all the planets. And this one, it's been saying blind faith. It's in a water sign, so that's mercy. It's on the water pillar. It's mutable. That means transmutation, and the change is going to happen. What change? Distillation to move into the air sign. You got to come out of... they have this saying, the water's fine, come on in. It's time to get out of the water. That's what time it is. And you can start right here with Uranus, your conscious mind. Best place to start. Time for purification. And once it's purified, it's going to move to that fixed cross. Fixed earth, grounded. Then you'll be grounded consciously. We're going to get that as a species. And in 2024, we'll start to become grounded, stable, fixed, immovable, consciously. Set in stone, which is what this star does. This is Algol. It is the eye of Medusa that turns the Kraken to stone. Got Mercury and Venus both in Venus's house today. Venus over the moon pillar today. Then she's going to be over the lunar pillar. Orion is a microcosm of the entire macrocosm. This is like a little bitty circle inside of the big circle. It's just a smaller representation, like a drop of your blood in the DNA of it all. That's how Freemasonry is able to teach it. It's built into itself. And here's their star under Gemini. Gemini. Everybody gets 2 squares. Gemini. You see things when they end and begin here. And this line is based on the spring equinox being at 0, 0. So it still has an adjustment on it. But everybody gets 2 squares. And you can see how much of Virgo belongs to Libra. You can see where Saturn and Jupiter are, that part of Sagittarius is in Capricorn. Here, is the spring equinox. And you see who's on it. This is what time it is. Just so you know. Moon in Pisces today, Sun in Taurus. Everybody likes being in Taurus. For some reason, all the planets really like being in Taurus. What's so special about Taurus? It's the right hand of the king. Aquarius is the king. Aldebaran is the nail in the right hand. You're the right hand man. Well, in this age, Freemasonry is not the black and white of Taurus. It's not really Orion. It's a lie. They have the fake phallic of Mercury, who rules the mutable cross, who's in power right now. Jupiter is supposed to be in power. Jupiter's benevolent, and he's supposed to be the good god here in Pisces. But Peter's dying upside down. That puts Mercury in power, and that's commerce, trade, the money. The 2 towers becoming 1. This is their middle pillar. Here's the stone the builders rejected. I proved it. In their books, in their scriptures, in the stars, and on all accounts. I've done it in the Greek. I've done it in the Arabic. It is Fomalhaut, is Thalem, is Bethlehem, is the Lamb, be the Lamb, Thelema, Thalem. It's all of those. It's also Lima, Peru. Jupiter in its own house, Saturn in its own house, fixing to go retrograde, both of them. The dance begins. You've not seen anything crazy yet. I've been telling you for 10 years that 2020 was the game changer. And they're seeking to change the times and the seasons, is what is occurring. They've already repainted the rotunda, and we do not get to see it. If anybody can find me a picture or go into the Capitol building, the rotunda, and look up and take a picture of what used to be the apotheosis of George Washington. And I would like to see what they called a restoration or an alteration, see what goes down there. Because when they were doing that, they had the Capitol building shut down so they could redo the dome. And during that time, right when they were doing it, they had the To Get Her ritual, the Together ritual that the Pope had right there in D.C. So I'm really curious. I'm just itching to see that symbolism of what is it they think they're fixing to paint. That's why Hollywood, the media, TV, and all that's so important to the elite. Because the images and the symbols control the narrative. Because they control the subconscious, and we're in groupthink. We're in collectivism. That's why they want communism. They want the commune, all in one collective, one think. One think, and that's the think they want right there. They want you to follow the white rabbit. Don't go there. Find the middle pillar. Go within. Know thyself. Above all, know thyself. When you know you, the rest of it all falls into place. When you know who you really are, what you really are. Know your natal chart tells you your strengths and your weaknesses. It gives you your lessons and tells you what your purpose is. But there's no way I can do everybody's. So it's up to you who have the ability, the time to do this, one, for yourself, and two, start doing it for those that you love. If you'll start doing the charts of people around you, your family, your friends, your co-workers, just people in general that you're interested in, do people in history, and you'll learn more and more and more and more. You could live 1,000 lifetimes and never learn it all. There's so much to learn. There's so much to know. It's endless. But we can get a really good understanding of it simply by learning this circle, learning the magic circle. We're safe within the circle. But we've been lied to. We've been double-crossed. We're in the illusion of duality. Pisces is about illusion. You have to believe because you can't know. That is illusion. And they're all wizards and warlocks. Sorcerers. But we can know ourselves. And we can rise above them. We can find that straight and narrow. But the thing about it is, nobody can do it for you but you. Nobody can give it to you, and nobody can take it from you. Some of you, it's just naturally in your charts. The circumstances of your life will lead you to open your third eye, as it happened to me. But others of you, you'll have to have more effort. It's like being in school. Learning came easy to me. I only had to read the book and throw it in my locker and I'm done. Others, they struggled and spent hours in studying and repeat to get that programming in there. They were unable to think for themselves. Overwhelmed with having to learn programming because it was hard to happen because it's against their nature. Programming is against the nature. We're impulsive beings. And depending on which chakra is invoked, what you're being led by, your reaction to those impulses. Well, in this age, the entire system is reaction is based on its desire. Jupiter, desire. But each individually, like I have Saturn in my first house with Mars. So my emotions tied with my higher self. Boom. That's going to be my reaction is going to come from these two places. From my emotions and my higher self. I'm going to act emotionally and I'm going to act according to my higher self. And ever since I opened my third eye, I have. When I was younger, I still do act emotionally. react emotionally, but less and less. I catch myself more and more of, don't react emotionally, which Mars is exalted in my first house, but acting according to my higher self, to be led by your spirit. Now, back to Uranus, because to be purified consciously really means letting go of it all and letting your higher self do its job. That's what it's there for. It's there to guide us and teach us. But some people are substituting not only Sirius, but different guilds, leagues, cults, fraternities venerate different planets, constellations, and chakras. And we've all been double-crossed. Most of us. 23.5 out of 30. 23.5 out of 30 people have been double-crossed. Simply by Western astrology. Just that fact alone. So it's time to find out what cross you're on, stop being double-crossed, get to know thyself, and learn the symbolism. Earth, water, air, fire, fixed, mutable, cardinal. Learn the symbols of the zodiac. Learn the symbols of the alchemical table of elements. I've given you all the videos, and I've done this over and over and over. I have repeated it to you till it's coming off like a program. And I need it to be natural. I need for your spirit within you to move and teach you, to confirm to you, which is what the spirit does. It confirms. Somebody presents you a set of knowledge, your spirit confirms that this is truth with root or truth with you. Alright, this video's over an hour. I don't want to drag y'all down anymore. I just feel like y'all need to be pushed right now. You've got all of this extra time on your hand in isolation, and you're wasting it. You're wasting it. You're playing video games, you're watching TV, you're bored. Use it to, one, Uranus, purify your mind. Y'all need to start meditating and connecting with your higher self. You need to fast and meditate. And right now, with the sun in Taurus, these wicked people are ramping up the rituals. They know they're being exposed, and their dirty deeds are escalating and escalating. And so this is, to even balance that in this world, we need to go within. We need to cut off the TV and cut off the radio and literally get off the internet. You need to turn this video off and go find yourself. And then come back and watch one or two of my videos. Alright people, love you bunches. You know what to do. Bank the karma. You're going to need it. You will, we will all reap what we sow very soon. Good and the bad. And thank you for all that donate to this channel. And I'll post when I'm up and going on Patreon. But until then, consider making a donation here. Be a part of what I'm doing. Help me help you.